Blue skies for Ronald Reagan this morning, but what about the rest of us? Steve Baskerville with the weather. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Phyllis. There's another race I want to talk about. It's a race of cold air that's moving across about a half of the country right now. People from New England all the way down to the northern Florida are actually running for cover. Not that it's raining so hard, but it's just that cold. I want to show you where most of the cold weather is, and if you take a look at the latest satellite, if you live anywhere east of Chicago or maybe Memphis, Tennessee, or Little Rock, anywhere in this area, you're going to find some pretty frosty conditions, and there's some snow in this direction. Now, for the most part, the satellite's going to show you two different patterns. The pattern all the way out west really is a mix of snow showers in the mountains, and you've got some rain showers from Portland, Oregon through Eugene and Salem and Seattle and maybe Spokane. You had some rain this morning, but really not anything too heavy or severe. So in terms of today's forecast, it's a mixed message, but some of it really is some good news. Sunny skies all the way from Caribou, where it's going to be 38 degrees by mid-afternoon, one of the coldest places you can be today, to about 83 degrees down around Galveston and Houston. The nation's high will probably be Coolidge, Arizona, where it was 88 degrees yesterday, about 80 degrees in Phoenix. But don't worry too much about the clouds that are bringing the snow showers. At least for this point, it looks like it's confined to the mountains. Now, that's the look at the national weather. Here's a look at some temperatures and forecasts for some other locations around the nation.
The Nashville forecast calls for partly cloudy and warmer today. The high will be about 65. It'll be partly cloudy and not as cool tonight, the low near 45. And tomorrow, mostly cloudy, windy, and warmer, with a 30% chance of rain, the high 72.
Not too bad. I guess you could call it 2 out of 4 in terms of how the region looks. I'll tell you much more in the next half hour.
Thank you, Steve.
Catch Talk of the Town this Wednesday, and we'll take you live to the beautiful Opryland Hotel.
While we're there, we'll get a cooking lesson from their very own pastry chef.
And we'll talk with our old friend Siegfried Eisenberger, who has just returned from an award-winning performance at the Culinary Olympics.
Plus, Bert, Ernie, and my favorite Cookie Monster will drop by for a visit. Harry and I sure hope you'll join us.
Catch Talk of the Town with Debbie and Harry each weekday morning at 10:30 from the friends you can turn to, your friends at Channel 5. This is an Eyewitness News update.
Morning, I'm John Megley. In the news at 6:25, the day after Election Day will warm up a bit. The Nashville forecast calls for partly cloudy and warmer with a high about 65. It'll stay partly cloudy tonight. It won't be as cool, the low near 45. And tomorrow, mostly cloudy, windy, and warmer with a chance of rain, the high around 72. Right now in Nashville, 33 degrees and clear. The relative humidity, 89%. The wind from the east at 3 miles an hour, and the barometer 30.33 and holding steady. Metro Police don't have any traffic problems right now. We'll update at 7:25. President Reagan, Albert Gore Jr., and Bart Gordon were the major individual winners in yesterday's big races in Middle Tennessee. Not surprisingly, Tennessee Republicans are happy with the presidential results and disappointed by the Senate and some state House races. In the past 8 elections, Tennessee has voted for the Republican presidential nominee 6 times. Governor Lamar Alexander says the GOP has to work harder on local elections and that Democrats need to improve on the national level.
Has about as bad a problem on the state and local level as the Democratic Party does nationally. I think people are tired to death of the brand of politics that Mondale and Ferraro serve up. But at the same time, Republicans do a poor job, except I think in Tennessee, of developing a state and local message, and we haven't really done as well with state legislative races and local elections as I would like. So Democrats need a national philosophy. We need a state and local one.
For Walter Mondale's Tennessee supporters, it was a night of keen disappointment. His statewide campaign had hoped for an upset in Tennessee, but as Mondale supporters watched the returns come in, those hopes quickly turned to frustration. After the votes were counted, Jim Neal, Mondale's Tennessee chairman, talked to Les Heinz.
Some doubt that he could win in Tennessee unless something happened nationally or internationally that would change the satisfaction that people had with the incumbent.
Statewide, Mondale was defeated in every congressional district except the 5th, which includes Davidson, part of Robertson County, and the city of Memphis. No big surprise in Tennessee's U.S. Senate race. Democrat Albert Gore Jr. easily beat Victor Ashe. Nearly 1 million Tennesseans, or 61%, voted for the Carthage Democrat. Victor Ashe did well in the eastern part of Tennessee, but not nearly well enough to mount a serious challenge. So Gore will be moving across the hall of the U.S. Capitol from the House to the Senate chambers. No upsets in any of the congressional races either. In the hotly contested 6th district race, Democrat Bart Gordon sailed to victory. Gordon piled up more than 100,000 votes in the 17-county district. Republican Joe Simpkins managed 60,000. The biggest upset in our region was registered up in Kentucky. Voters there narrowly ousted incumbent Senator Walter D. Huddleston in favor of challenger Mitch McConnell. With 99% of the votes counted, McConnell has 50%, Huddleston 49%.
We're putting it all together to be Nashville's complete station, Radio 650 WSM. For information, count on Tennessee's largest and only 24-hour radio newsstand. Get Nashville's only airborne traffic reports on WSM.
Flight 650. Radar weather, sunny and warm.
Real live entertainment and plenty of today's best country music. It's everything radio should be. Your complete station, WSM.
Radio 650.
Democrat Ben West Jr. is the new state representative in the 60th district. West declared his win about an hour after the polls closed. He's the son of former Nashville Mayor, the late Ben West. He beat his Republican opponent, Betty Cannon, by about 2,000 votes. In Hendersonville, Representative Ray Clark kept his seat with a win of about 1,000 votes. Clark had been challenged about delays in the construction of a bypass linking the city of Hendersonville with Interstate 65. Opponent John Bradley charged Clark with failing to push for the issue. But Clark met last night with supporters and says he ran on a record of performance, which he says paved the way for his eventual win. Let's look at some other state house races. Tommy Burnett won an 8th term even though he's in federal prison. He won his district with nearly 60% of the vote. In the 42nd district, incumbent Jerry Jarrett won another term. Meanwhile, Victor Ellis rolled to victory in the 53rd district, taking 9 out of every 10 votes. And in the 59th, Dick Clark was reelected with nearly 70% of the ballots. One Senate race of note, Democrat Joe Haynes easily won in the 18th. And we'll have more voting results for you at 7:25.
This has been an Eyewitness News update.
Weather's a sort of nonpartisan issue, and we have just the candidate to tell us about it, and it's Steve Baskerville. I understand there's a tropical storm brewing in the Virgin Islands, so if anyone's planning to go on a vacation after this stressful election, they better not go that direction.
That's right, Phyllis. This is the 11th time that it's happened so far this season. You don't expect those kind of storms to develop this late into November, but I want to show you what it looks like, and it's pretty impressive if you take a look at the latest satellite views. But there's the storm, and you can see all the circulation around it. It is Tropical Storm Klaus, and Klaus is fanning clouds all the way up the Atlantic. Really not a threat to the states, but the wind speeds are about 40 miles an hour. It's moving about 8 miles an hour to the northeast, and we are going to keep an eye on it. It's likely that it will hook out to sea, but we will keep you posted as this morning wears on. I want to show you what else is going on. It's rather tranquil across the states. You already heard about the high winds in Florida, but it doesn't look like there are going to be many rain clouds in that direction. There are some areas that are a little bit warmer than you would expect, although we've been talking about cold weather in the east. In the Rockies, both west and east, it's almost spring-like. In Denver, 62 degrees this afternoon, almost the same kind of conditions in Salt Lake City. Most of the rain you'll find if you're traveling to Wichita or maybe Kansas City or probably St. Louis as well. Most of the rain showers and clouds are right in the middle of the country, and no midweek break at all for the central and southern plains, and most of the heat down and around Phoenix or portions of southern Arizona. It is beautiful for this time of year. That's a look at our national weather. Here's a look at some temperatures and forecasts for some other locations around the nation.
The Nashville forecast calls for partly cloudy and warmer today. The high will be about 65. It'll be partly cloudy and not as cool tonight, the low near 45. And tomorrow, mostly cloudy, windy, and warmer with a 30% chance of rain, the high 72.
I will keep you posted on what to expect across the states and what that tropical storm is doing in the next half hour. Back to you.
It, of course, is the morning after, but veteran CBS News political correspondent Bruce Morton had beginnings on his mind as he pondered some election day fates and fortunes.
Time now 5 minutes before the hour, and here's the weather forecast. The warmer temperatures have moved west with afternoon highs in the 70s and 80s in the south central and southwest part of the country. The southeast, the Ohio Valley, stretching through the plains to the west coast will be in the 50s and 60s. Some 40s will be felt in the northeast and the northern Rockies.
WTVF urges your support of the Children's Hospital.
But scheduled for today is Steve Baskerville with the weather. Steve?
You know, we have our eyes down on southern Florida and portions of the southern Atlantic in general because that's where most of the action seems to be. And if you take a look at any of the latest pictures that we have, it looks clear in some aspects, but look at all the clouds that you can see resting out here in the Atlantic. There's another tropical storm. Usually tropical storms don't develop at the end of October or certainly the first week of November, but we're keeping an eye on the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico where they have some pretty heavy rain, especially late last night. I want to move into the center of the nation. You can see another fanning massive clouds, and those clouds really don't have a whole lot of rain associated with them, but showers could pop up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or maybe some rain in St. Louis as far north as Chicago possible. But look at how mild the temperatures are. Denver, Colorado gets a break. They had snow last week, and Utah and portions of Nevada. Still snowing in the mountains of California, but not enough to produce 6-7 inches or horror stories. And meanwhile, the Northeast is just as cool as can be, crisp. And if you are a farmer, I tell you, from Delaware all the way down to northern Florida, the frost and freeze warnings are in effect. So watch out, especially this morning and late tonight. That is a look at our weather. Here's a look at some temperatures and forecasts for some other locations around the nation.
The Nashville forecast calls for partly cloudy and warmer today. The high will be about 65. It'll be partly cloudy and not as cool tonight, the low near 45. And tomorrow, mostly cloudy, windy, and warmer with a 30% chance of rain, the high 72.
We will continue to keep you posted on what's happening across the states and with this latest tropical storm the next half hour.
Thank you, Steve. Our morning news political roundtable squares off in the future when we return.
We want to help keep our friends in touch with all the local as well as the national news that affects you right here at home.
On Eyewitness Morning News, we'll have up-to-the-minute coverage of overnight events, and Ron Kaiser will have the latest weather information.
Join us for Eyewitness Morning News, weekdays at 8 on Channel 5.
This is an Eyewitness News update, brought to you by The Sandman, 642 West Iris Drive.
Good morning, I'm John Megley. In the news at 7:25, the day after Election Day will warm up a little. The Nashville forecast calls for partly cloudy and warmer with the high about 65. It'll stay partly cloudy tonight with the low near 45, so it won't be as cool. And tomorrow will be mostly cloudy, windy, and warmer with a chance of rain, the high around 72. Right now in Nashville, 34 degrees and mostly cloudy. The relative humidity 89%, the wind calm, and the barometer 30.35 and rising. Metro Police are working one wreck. It happened at North 1st Street near the Woodland Street Bridge. The big political winners in key races in our area yesterday, Ronald Reagan, Albert Gore Jr., Bart Gordon, and Mitch McConnell. The big upset there was in Kentucky, where challenger McConnell narrowly ousted incumbent Senator Walter D. Huddleston. McConnell got 50% of the vote, Huddleston 49%. As expected, Tennessee Republicans are pleased with the presidential re-election, but disappointed by the Senate and some state House races. In the past 8 elections, Tennessee has voted 6 times for the Republican presidential nominee. Governor Lamar Alexander would like to see his party work harder on the local level, while he thinks Democrats have to concentrate more in national races. For the Mondale camp here in Tennessee, it was a frustrating election. His statewide campaign had been looking for an upset here. But while Mondale backers watched returns filter in, reality quickly set in. Statewide, Mondale was beaten in every congressional district except the 5th, which includes Metro, part of Robertson County, and Memphis. No major surprise in Tennessee's Senate race. Democrat Albert Gore Jr. easily defeated Victor Ashe. Nearly 1 million voters went for Gore. The Carthage congressman gained 61% of the ballots. Ashe did well in native East Tennessee, but not well enough to keep Gore from moving from the House chambers to the Senate in the U.S. Capitol. No real surprise in any of the congressional races either. In the 6th district, Bart Gordon easily beat Joe Simpkins. Gordon, the Democrat, got more than 100,000 votes in the sprawling 17-county district. Simpkins, the Republican, managed 60,000.
Jack, seems like buying a Sealy Posturepedic is almost like buying a car. So many makes and models, it's hard to know what to choose.
Let the Sandman help you choose. We have the largest selection of 1984 Sealy Posturepedics to be found anywhere.
I know that Sealy Posturepedics are popular. Guess they must be expensive, too.
The Sandman can help you there, too. Our factory direct broker prices will let you rest assured that you're getting the most for your money.
The Sandman for Sealy Posturepedics, now open in Berry Hill across from 100 Oaks.
Democrat Ben West Jr. is the new state representative for the 60th District. West declared his victory about an hour after the polls closed. He's the son of the former Nashville mayor, the late Ben West. Unofficial tallies show he beat his Republican opponent, Betty Cannon, by about 2,000 votes.
The people of the 60th District want me to become involved. I'm financially oriented. I understand figures. I understand it is also when someone can't make their monthly payment. So I know the needs of the 60th District, and I'm going to jump right in the middle of those arguments that are going on in the legislature.
My deepest feelings about this race is the commitment that my people had for me in working to win, to provide good representation in this district, and that's what I hope Mr. West will do. And I felt that we really...
Cannon says it was a hard-fought race, but thinks West will do a good job representing constituents in that 60th district. In Hendersonville, State Representative Ray Clark kept his seat by defeating Democratic challenger John Bradley. The big issue there was whether Clark had been dragging his heels regarding the construction of a bypass connecting Hendersonville with I-65. Apparently, voters didn't think he has been the reason for those delays. There were no statewide referenda on the November ballot, the closest thing being 14 cities or counties voting on whether to allow liquor stores or liquor by the drink. 7 of those were here in Middle Tennessee. Clarksville, Cheatham County, and Smyrna all voted to ban liquor stores, while Murfreesboro voted to continue to allow them. On the issue of liquor by the drink, Clarksville and Hendersonville voted against it. Brentwood voters decided they want it in their city. Our next news will come along this morning at 8 o'clock when Nancy Mathis and Ron Kaiser join me, John Megley, for Eyewitness Morning News. We'll, of course, have a complete wrap-up of Election Day 84, and we hope you'll join us. We'll also keep you abreast of the weather. The weather, by the way, has caused postponement of the Space Shuttle Challenger liftoff today. Have a good morning.
This has been an Eyewitness News Update, brought to you by The Sandman, 642 West Iris Drive.
We're looking at a very disappointed group of astronauts this morning. They came out of the shuttle Discovery. The whole mission has been canceled today. It will go on tomorrow. There were high winds, and the NASA technicians thought it would be best for everyone, and especially the spaceship Discovery and the astronauts, if they stayed on the ground today, and they will go tomorrow morning as planned. Another big story this morning, the White House says it has information that a Soviet freighter docked last night in Nicaragua. Intelligent reports say that that freighter may hold a cargo of MiG jets for the leftist government there. White House spokesman Larry Speake says it would be an extreme escalation of the situation if those reports are true. And now it's time for one final check on the world of weather, and we can assure you these reports are true. Steve Baskerville, good morning.
Good morning. I want to tell you about a couple of guys holding off this name brisk and cold, and you're going to feel it if you go outside in the next hour or so. As far south as northern Florida, struggling to get out of the 35 to 40 degree mark, and I'll show you what I mean. You can almost draw a little triangle of where most of the rainy and damp conditions are, from Chicago to portions of Wichita and central Kansas over to Memphis, Tennessee, and other than that, just plain cool to start this morning. Sunny skies in many locales, but take a look at how a couple of storms that broke apart from a Pacific Northwest snowstorm that really didn't amount to very much yesterday, but it's enough to cause clouds from Fargo and Bismarck, North Dakota, all the way across to Seattle this afternoon, and more rain showers likely for Northern California. But the sunny skies really are winning out in general. But overnight tonight, you talk about a turnaround. Look at how far the 30-degree mark continues to be. In the 20s in northern New England, 30s all the way through the Carolinas and Georgia and Mississippi. Frost and freeze warnings in effect. Some teens in the mountains where you would expect it for this time of year, but don't look for the snow because that just isn't going to happen. More rain showers likely for Thursday from Great Falls all the way down to Salt Lake City, but that is not too unusual. But still, all in all, it looks like the weather is holding up and not giving us too much that is severe across the states. That is a look at our weather. Here's a look at some temperatures and forecasts for some other locations around the nation. In New York City, 49 chilly degrees and sunny skies. In Chicago, 60 degrees and partly cloudy. 67 in St. Louis, more clouds and sunshine. 75 degrees down in Dallas. 70 degrees and partly cloudy in Los Angeles. Look at what happens to San Francisco. 65 degrees and cool. If we had days like Election Day and the day after, I'd have it made in terms of the weather across most of the country. You have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
No, I know this, but
yes, we are. We're going to be talking about
You and Bill Moyers.
That's right.
Ah, okay.
We're just practicing over here.
Well,
This is CBS.
Catch Talk of the Town this Wednesday, and we'll take you live to the beautiful Opryland Hotel.
While we're there, we'll get a cooking lesson from their very own pastry chef.
And we'll talk with our old friend Siegfried Eisenberger, who has just returned from an award-winning performance at the Culinary Olympics.
Plus, Bert, Ernie, and my favorite Cookie Monster will drop by for a visit. Harry and I sure hope you'll join us.
Catch Talk of the Town with Debbie and Harry each weekday morning at 10:30 from the friends you can turn to, your friends at Channel 5.
Look out! Southeastern Conference football is coming at you.
Coming at you, SEC. Coming at you, SEC. Coming at you, SEC.
Other conferences promise you excitement, head-to-head rivalries, hard charge in action, but the SEC delivers.
I'm Hope Hines, inviting you to catch the SEC Game of the Week as Florida takes on Georgia Saturday morning at 11 here on Channel 5.
Hi, I'm Rob Weller.
And I'm Mary Hart. We know that our friends in Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky spend a lot of time and money on entertainment.
So watch Entertainment Tonight, the only TV series that reports exclusively on the world of entertainment.
Keep informed with in-depth stories, celebrity features, and up-to-the-minute coverage of events. Join us for Entertainment Tonight, following Eyewitness News at 10, right here with the friends you can turn to, Channel 5.
WTVF urges you to support the American Cancer Society.
From WTVF, Nashville, this is Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Let me just say, well, you know, good habits are hard to break.
I have noticed in the seeds of every victory are to be found the seeds of defeat,